Sherlock Holmes and the Sport of Kings by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Chapter 1. A horse called Silver Blaze. "I must go down there, Watson. I must," said Sherlock Holmes at the breakfast table on Thursday morning. "Go? Go where?" I asked. "To Dartmoor, to King's Pyland." "Ah, so that's it," I said. "Well, everybody in the country is talking about the case at King's Pyland." I always know when Holmes is interested in a case. He reads all the newspapers. He walks up and down the room, and does not speak for hours. He did all those things yesterday. He did not answer any of my questions, but I knew that it was the mystery at King's Pyland. The morning newspapers were on the breakfast table. "What is happening at King's Pyland? Where is Silver Blaze?" they asked. "Who killed John Straker? What are the police doing? Can they find the horse before the big race next week?" Silver Blaze was a famous racehorse, and John Straker was his trainer. One of the biggest horse races of the year, the Wessex Cup, was next week, and Silver Blaze was the favourite to win. But on Monday night at King's Pyland, two things happened. Someone killed John Straker, and Silver Blaze disappeared. I was interested in this case too. "Do you need my help, Holmes?" I asked. "I would very much like to come with you." "My dear Watson," said Holmes, "of course you must come with me. We can catch the 12 o'clock from Paddington and talk about the case on the train." 2 hours later, we were on the train to Tavistock. We read all the midday newspapers, but there was nothing new in them. "So, Watson, what do you think about this case?" "Well, the newspapers say, yes. The newspapers understand nothing. One day they say one thing, the next day they say another. But we must look at the case more carefully. What did happen on Monday night at King's Pyland? And what did not happen? That's an important question too. Do the police have any answers?" I asked. "No," said Holmes. "On Wednesday morning I had 2 letters. One was from Mr. Ross, the owner of the horse, and the other was from the Dartmoor police, an Inspector Gregory. They ask for my help." "Wednesday morning?" I cried. "But this is Thursday morning. Why didn't you go down yesterday?" "Because it was an easy case. You can't hide a famous horse for long, I thought." "Where can you hide a horse on Dartmoor? There are no buildings, no trees." "But I was wrong, Watson. The case is now 2 days old, and nobody can find the horse, or Straker's killer. So, here we are, on the train to Tavistock. "And what do you think about it all?" I said. "Well, Watson, let's look at the case. First, we have a racehorse, Silver Blaze, only 5 years old, but already a winner in many big races. His owner, Mr. Ross, is a happy man, and rich. The racegoers are happy too. Silver Blaze nearly always wins his races, and so people put big bets on him to win. And when the favourite wins the race, a lot of people make money on their bets. But what happens when the favourite doesn't win, Watson? What then?" "A lot of people lose their money, of course," I said. "And people with big bets on a different horse can make much more money when that other horse wins." "Right, Watson. So, perhaps some people are very interested in Silver Blaze not running in the Wessex Cup. Of course, Mr. Ross and his trainer, John Straker, know that, and they watch the horse very carefully. Now, let's look at the people and the place. The trainer, John Straker, a good man and wonderful with horses, worked for Mr. Ross for 12 years. There are 4 horses in the training stables and 3 boys working for Straker. One of them sits up all night with the horses, and the other 2 sleep in a room over the stables. We know nothing bad about any of the boys. Straker has a wife, no children, and lived, in a house about 200 metres from the stables. The town of Tavistock is 2 kilometres to the west, and about 2 kilometres to the east there is Capleton, another training stables. The owner there is Lord Backwater, and the trainer is Silas Brown. There are no other houses, just the hills of Dartmoor. I listened carefully. I wanted to remember it all, because Holmes does not like to say anything twice. "Now," he said, "what happened on Monday night?" "These papers came with Inspector Gregory's letter." "The best thing is for you to read them, Watson. Then tell me what you think." I took the papers from him and began to read. Chapter 2. Monday Night at King's Pyland. Notes by Inspector Gregory, after talking to Edith Baxter, Ned Hunter, Mrs. John Straker, and Mr. Fitzroy Simpson. On Monday evening, Straker locked the stables at 9 o'clock, the usual time. 2 of the boys then walked up to the trainer's house for their dinner. But the 3rd boy, Ned Hunter, stayed in the stables to watch the horses. At 9:05, the Straker servant, a girl called Edith Baxter, carried Ned Hunter's dinner down to the stables. The dinner that night was a hot meat curry. Edith was nearly at the stables when a man called out to her. He came up to her, and she saw a tall man in a grey suit and a hat, and a red and black scarf. He carried a big walking stick, and Edith felt afraid of him. "Where am I?" the man asked. "What is this place?" "This is King's Pyland training stables," she said. "Good," said the man. "Now, a stable boy sleeps here every night. Is that right? And I think you're taking his dinner to him now." He took an envelope out of his pocket. "Please, give the boy this, and you can have some money for a beautiful new dress." Edith did not take the envelope. She ran past the man to the stables and up to a small open window. She always put the boy's dinner through this window, and Ned Hunter was there, ready to take it. "Oh, Ned!" Edith cried. But before she could say any more, the stranger came up behind her. "Good evening," he said through the window to the boy. "I want to talk to you." "Who are you? What do you want?" Ned Hunter said. "I want to make you rich, boy," the stranger said. "You help me, and I help you. You have 2 horses in for the Wessex Cup, Silver Blaze and Bayard. I hear that Bayard is the better horse, and that you stable boys are putting your bets on him to win. Am I right?" "I'm not saying anything," cried Ned Hunter. "We don't talk about our horses at King's Pyland, so get out. I'm getting the dog now." Ned ran across the stables to get the dog, and Edith began to run back to the house. But she looked back after about 30 meters and saw the man at the little window with his head and one arm inside the room. Edith ran on, and a minute later, Ned came out of the building and locked the door behind him. He ran all round the stables with the dog, but the man was gone. Ned Hunter told the trainer and the other boys about the stranger. But no one saw him again. The next thing happened at 1 o'clock in the morning, when John Straker got out of bed. "What's the matter?" said his wife. "Where are you going?" "To the stables," Straker said. "I can't stop thinking about that stranger. I just want to have a look around." "But it's raining. Wait until the rain stops," she said. No, Straker said. "I want to go now." He left the house, and Mrs. Straker went back to sleep. At 7 in the morning, she woke up, but her husband was not there. She quickly got up, called the servant, Edith, and they ran down to the stables. They found the stables unlocked. Straker was not there, and inside, on a chair, Ned Hunter slept like a dead man. Silver Blaze was gone, and his stable door was open. They called the other two boys from the room over the stables. They were good sleepers and heard nothing in the night. Nobody could wake Ned Hunter, so the two women and the boys ran out to look for the trainer and the horse. 500 meters from the stables, they saw Straker's coat on a small tree. Down the hill, just past the tree, they found the trainer. He was dead. There was a long cut in his leg, and his head was broken in 3 places. In his right hand, he had a small knife with blood all over it, and in his left hand, he had a red and black scarf. Edith Baxter knew the scarf at once, and later, so did Ned Hunter. "It's the stranger's scarf," he told us. "When I went to get the dog, that stranger was still at the stable window. He put something in my meat curry to make me sleep. I know he did. Edith saw him with his arm through the window." Ned Hunter was right about his meat curry. There was some of his dinner left, and we found a lot of opium in it. That's why Ned slept like a dead man. What about the horse? We found his tracks in the mud, next to Straker's dead body. But what happened then? Someone hit Straker on the head and killed him. Did that person take the horse away? Did the horse run away? Everybody on Dartmoor is looking for Silver Blaze, but there is no news of him. When I began work on the case on Tuesday, we looked for the stranger. He was in Tavistock, and we found him easily. His name is Fitzroy Simpson. He lives mostly in London and makes his money at the races, taking bets. We looked in his betting book and found a number of big bets. £5,000 against the favourite for the Wessex Cup. These were his answers to my questions. Why did you come down to Dartmoor? I'm a betting man, Inspector. I need to know about the horses for the Wessex Cup. Silver Blaze, Bayard, and Desborough, the horse at Silas Brown's stables. He's the second favourite for the race, you see. Did you go to the King's Pyland stables late on Monday evening? Yes, I did. I just wanted to ask the stable boys some questions. They know the horses better than anyone. And is this your scarf? Yes. Yes, it is. And how did it get into the dead man's hand, Mr. Simpson? Can you tell us that? I don't know, Inspector. I don't know. I never saw the man. I lost my scarf in the dark. It wasn't me, Inspector. It wasn't me." We asked many more questions, but Fitzroy Simpson did not change his story. He was out at King's Pyland that night. His suit was still wet from the rain, and his big walking stick could break a man's head open. But there were no cuts on his body. So where did the blood on Straker's knife come from? And where is the horse? Chapter 3. John Straker's Pockets. Very interesting, I said. I gave the papers back to Holmes, and he put them away. "So, Watson, what can you tell me?" he asked. I thought for a minute. This cut on Straker's leg. Perhaps he did it with his own knife. When something hits you very hard on the head, and you have a knife in your hand, it can happen, you know. Very good, Watson. And that's bad news for Fitzroy Simpson. So, did Simpson do it, do you think? I said. Perhaps, said Holmes. Let's look at it. Simpson puts opium in the boy's dinner. He goes away and comes back later in the night. He gets into the stables, takes the horse out, and leaves. But the trainer arrives at that moment, sees him, and follows him. The two men fight, and Simpson breaks Straker's head open with his stick. Then Simpson takes the horse. But where? Or did the horse run away? Is it still out on the moor? And how did Simpson get into the locked stables? I don't know, Watson. I don't know. We must wait and see. When we arrived at Tavistock Station, two men came to meet us. Inspector Gregory was a tall, slow-moving man with blue eyes, and Mr. Ross was small and quick. He was the first to speak. Very pleased to see you, Mr. Holmes. The inspector here is working hard, but we need help. We must find poor Straker's killer, and I want to find my horse. Is there any news? Asked Holmes. Let's talk on the way, the inspector said. I'd like you to see everything in the daylight. We were soon out of the little town and up on the brown hills of the moor. Inspector Gregory thought that the killer was Fitzroy Simpson. Simpson was out in the rain that night. His suit was still wet on the Tuesday, he said. He had a big stick, and his scarf was in the dead man's hand. That looks bad, Mr. Holmes. Very bad. Holmes smiled. You need more than that, Inspector. The servant, Edith, spoke of an envelope. Did Simpson say anything about that? Yes. He said it had money in it. A £10 note for the stable boy. What about this other training stables at Capleton? asked Holmes. "Does Simpson have friends there?" "No, we don't think so. We went to Capleton, of course. Their horse, Desborough, is the second favourite for the Wessex Cup. And Silas Brown, the trainer, was not friendly with Straker. But we found nothing." When we arrived at King's Pyland, Inspector Gregory took us into the trainer's house. "Straker's body is upstairs," he said. "But we have here the things from his pockets and from the ground next to his body. Would you like to see them, Mr. Holmes?" "Very much," said Holmes. We went into the front room, and the inspector opened a box and put things on a table. There was a box of matches, a small piece of candle, some money, a watch, some papers, and a small, thin knife. "This is a strange knife," Holmes said. He looked at it carefully and then gave it to me. "What is it, Watson?" "It's an eye knife," I said. "Doctors use these when they cut into an eye. You don't usually see them outside a hospital." Said Holmes. "So why did Straker take this knife? It's no good for fighting." "His wife says it was in the bedroom for some days," said Inspector Gregory. "Perhaps he just took it because it was there, on the table." "Perhaps," said Holmes. "What about these papers?" "One is a letter from Mr. Ross. The others are bills," the inspector said. "3 of them are bills for the horse's food, and this one is a bill from a dressmaker in London for a Mr. William Derbyshire. He was a friend of Straker's, his wife tells us. His letters sometimes came here, and Straker sent them on." "Mrs. William Derbyshire is an expensive lady," said Holmes, looking at the bill. £25 is a lot of money for just one dress and one hat." He put the bill down and moved to the window. "Inspector, can we go out on the moor now, before the light begins to go?" We left the room, and at the front door we saw a woman. She came up to Inspector Gregory and put her hand on his arm. "Is there any news?" she said. "No, Mrs. Straker. But here is Mr. Holmes, the famous detective from London. We have him to help us now." "I think I met you a month or 2 ago, Mrs. Straker," said Holmes. "Let me see. Yes, it was in Plymouth, at a garden party. Do you remember?" "No, sir. That wasn't me." "But I remember so well. You had a blue dress and a dark blue hat with white flowers on it." "I don't have a hat with flowers on it, sir," Mrs. Straker said. Well, I am wrong, then. I am so sorry." And with that, Holmes followed the inspector outside. The 4 of us then walked past the stables and up onto the moor. After 10 minutes, Inspector Gregory stopped. "Here we are," he said. "Straker's body was just down there. His coat was here, on this small tree." "On the tree, not on the ground?" Holmes asked. "Oh, no. It was on the tree, carefully away from the mud on the ground." "Interesting," said Holmes. "Now, I must look at the mud down there." "Ah," said Inspector Gregory, "and to help you, I have here in this bag one of Straker's shoes, one of Fitzroy Simpson's shoes, and one of Silver Blaze's horseshoes." "My dear Inspector, well done." Holmes was very pleased. "You think of everything." For some minutes, Holmes looked carefully at the ground, his eyes only centimetres away from the mud. "Hello," he said suddenly. "What's this?" From out of the mud, he took a match, or a small piece of one. "Now, why didn't I find that?" said the inspector. "I knew it was there, you see," said Holmes. "You knew? But how could you know that?" Holmes smiled, but did not answer. He then took the shoes, got down on the ground, and began to look at all the tracks in the mud. We stood and watched him. But after 5 minutes, Mr. Ross looked at his watch. This is very interesting, Mr. Holmes," he said. "But is it going to take a long time?" "No," said Holmes. He got to his feet. "I don't need to do any more here. Watson and I are going to take a little walk across the moor now, with the horseshoe." Mr. Ross looked at the inspector. "Can we go back to the house and talk? I must take Silver Blaze's name out of the Wessex Cup race, and do it today, I think." "Don't do that," cried Holmes. No, you must leave the horse's name in for the race." "But," Mr. Ross began. Then he laughed, a little angrily. "Well, thank you, Mr. Holmes. Thank you for your help. See you later, then, at the house." And he and the inspector walked away.